Here are the 7 techniques of machine learning. The first one is called a classification. Second one, categorization. The third technique that is very popular, that is called the clustering. The fourth one, anomaly detection, visualization, and the decision making. The fourth one is the trend analysis. So we will see the one by one what are the different machine learning techniques. Let us see the first, classification. The classification here we can classify our data, and for the classification we require the label data. There we can classify our data on the basis of your labels. It may be, for example, response 1 and the response 2. So you are classify your data into the 2 categories, that is new observation and old observation, yellow or the orange. The second technique is called the categorization. Categorization is a technique to organize the data in categories for its most effective and efficient use. So let us consider I have some data. Now I want to make some categories. For example, there is a class of 50 students. Then I want to find out who is a brilliant student in my class. So I have to find out 5 to 6 brilliant students. I am placing them in a category 1 or category A, that they are very talented, they have the extraordinary students, and they are very tentative in a class. So on the basis of that, I select the one group of students and mark them as a excellent student in a class. Now the second category is a normal student. The normal student are those students, they are present in a class. Sometimes they are responsive, but sometimes they are not responsive. So on the basis of that, we will say that this student of category is normal student category. And the third category students are those students, they are not regular in a class. And even though they are come to the class, they are not tentative. So we are keep them in a third category, and according to that, we are categorize our students into the 3 classes. And this concept is nothing but is a technique to organize the data into the categories to make them effective and efficient use. The next technique is clustering. The clustering and the classification are nearby same, but the difference between the clustering and the classification is that in classification we have a label data. We will see what is the label and unlabeled data in our coming lecture. For right now, just keep in mind that for classification we are required the label data to make a data in different classifiers. While in a clustering, we don't have label data. The data is available as an unlabeled data, and the selection of this object that is based on the similarity and the dissimilarity between them. So we are not first give the label to the student. On the basis of that, we are finding out the some similarity and the some dissimilarity between them, and then we can categorize them. That is called the clustering. As for example, a living animal. So we are make a cluster of living animals, for example, birds. and the mammals. So the birds have their some similarity that they have the wings. So we are keeping them in a one cluster. While the another living animal, they don't have the wings, so we can keep them in one cluster. So the broadly we are differentiate the living animal into the two categories. That the one who is having the wings, so we call them a bird, and they don't have the wings, we call them as a normal animal, and keep them in a one cluster. So based on their similarities, on the dissimilarity, we can differentiate this group and call as a similar object. We can create a cluster 1 and the cluster 2. The next technique is called as a trend analysis. The trend analysis is represent the variation of low frequency in a time series. The high and the medium frequency fluctuation being out. So these trend analyses are normally used in a stock market. So in a stock market prediction, we are use the trend analysis because we use the time series in a stock market. These time series are very important because the trends are changed as per the time. So if there is any, sometime you can see that the stock market is goes up at 1 o'clock and it will get down at 3 o'clock. And again it will get up at the 4 o'clock. So this frequency of fluctuation you can see during the stock market transaction. And this concept is called the trend analysis. The next technique is machine learning. We are using anomaly detection. So what is anomaly detection? So anomaly detection means something happens in opposed to your regular thing. For example, let us see from this diagram, all the fish are moving to right to left, but one fish is moving from left to right. This indicates that it may cease doing some anomaly in the routine work. So to solve the intrusion by indicating the presence of intended or unintended induced attack, defect, fault, and so on. So the anomaly detection are normally used in a networking. So when you are regularly use your network, so there is some pattern you have to follow. So but if unauthorized person is want to use your network, so they are making some different pattern. So based on that particular pattern, we can find out that this person is doing attacking on your network. And that is called as a anomaly detection. The next machine learning technique is very popular, that is a visualization. In visualization, we are showing the data in the form of picture. It makes easier to understand. So let us see, I have the one Excel sheet, and in that Excel sheet, we are keeping all your percentage information. Your percentage from the 10th standard to last year's standard. So on the basis of that, we can get an idea that how many students are passed in a first class, how many students are passed in a distinction, how many students are in a second class, and so on. So we are placing this information in a pictorial format, and that is called as a visualization. And that visualization is useful for analytical presentation. So this to doing the analysis for the analyst, we use the visualization. It's very handy and useful tool for data analysis. And the last and most important technique we are using in machine learning is decision making. The decision making is nothing but you can influence the managerial decision with the data as evidence for those possibilities. So the decision making algorithms are mostly used by the managerial level people. For example, if the government has to take a decision that can we unlock the lockdown or not, so they have to take some decision. And on which basis they are taking the decision? The decision has been taken on the data available. So how much COVID patient is available in that particular area? Based on that, the government has to take the decision, can it allow to unlock the lockdown or not? So if the managerial people want to take a decision, in that case also, the machine learning play an important role. By using the various decision-making algorithms, the manager can take accurate decision to implement his opinion. And these are the 7 techniques we are used in machine learning. Thank you.